My name is Jason Merrick. I'm the Director of Addiction Services here at Kenton County Detention Center. I'm also the Board President for People Advocating Recovery, a statewide organization dedicated to breaking down barriers to recovery from addiction. But most importantly, I'm a person in long-term recovery from the disease of addiction. And what that means for me is that I've been able to live drug and alcohol free for over 7 years. It also means that I've been able to be of service to a community that had welcomed me open-armed when I was at my worst. My journey started here in Northern Kentucky in April of 2009 when I landed here, a transplant from the West Coast. I had traveled across this country with the black cloud of addiction following me every step of the way. I found myself on the step of the Grateful Life Center on April 16, 2009, when I began my journey into recovery. I lived there for 13 months and 1 day, and after that I was a faithful employee of Transitions Grateful Life Center for almost 5 years while I worked on an undergrad bachelor's degree in social work. Not long ago, I was asked to be a part of a treatment program here at the detention center, and introducing social services into a correctional environment is fairly new to this area. So I jumped at the opportunity to be of service to so many that were in such need. What we've done here is we've created a treatment model based on a biological approach, a psychological approach, a social approach, and a spiritual approach. Biologically, we're treating a disease with a medication that is proven to reduce morbidity associated with relapse. We also use a evidence-based cognitive behavioral therapy approach in our curriculums and in our counseling services. Socially, we introduce 12-step support networks so that folks are connected to outside resources once they are released, and they have an idea of who the like-minded people are in our communities and who they can call when they're feeling cravings or feeling temptations to revert back to drug use or criminal behavior. Our program hasn't gone without some challenges. Logistically, we're a jail first, and we have to make sure that everyone is safe and cared for here in a humane way. But we've been able to allocate 100 beds here at the detention center for treatment. So we were licensed on November 1st of 2015. We became licensed to treat 100 individuals, 70 men and 30 women, for substance use disorder. Our program stays full. We stay over capacity on generally. We're at about 105 right now, and overall, our clients are very grateful to be able to access these types of services while incarcerated. Instead of just spending their time sleeping or watching TV, they're able to utilize the space and time here to better themselves, so they may not have to come back here, and they can learn a new way of life that doesn't involve drugs and alcohol. The length of our program is 6 months, give or take. We're part of a program put together by the Department of Corrections called SAP, Substance Abuse Programming, and we use a curriculum designed by Betty Ford Hazelden out of Minnesota for corrections called A New Direction. It's a 6-module cognitive behavioral therapy approach. We talk about everything from intake and orientation to socialization to relapse prevention, criminal addictive thinking, release or reintegration, and drug and alcohol education. At a point later on in the program, once an individual is admitted, we focus mostly on just getting orientated, understanding the rules, understanding the schedule, and we do their intake and their assessment, and then we start separating them up into classes. So we like to work with as small groups as possible, so we're able to focus on more of an individual approach, and people feel more willing to open up when they're in a smaller group. So we divide up into anywhere from 35 to 10 group sizes, and we orchestrate the curriculums twice per day, 5 days per week. In the evenings, we have 12-step support meetings outside. Volunteers come in to provide AA and NA meetings. And at a point later in the program, we offer an opportunity for an individual to receive Vivitrol, which is a full opioid blocker. It blocks the effects of heroin, opiate painkillers, and alcohol for a period of 1 month after post-injection. It's a once per month shot that one would receive. Now, we would like to time this more towards the end of their stay here, so they get the injection and then they're released so they can go out into the community and do good work. And it adds that extra level of protection, so someone is less likely to leave jail, be faced with the same dangers and risks that are associated with their neighborhoods or their homes, and then succumb to the cravings and relapse and God forbid, overdose and die. A study put out not too long ago identifies those being released from jails and prisons as 130 times more likely to die of an overdose within the first 2 weeks of release than anyone else on the planet. So providing that extra level of support and that extra level of protection, we feel is instrumental, and not only saving lives, but working towards that long-term recovery. So what the message that I like to carry and that I like to talk about is that of hope. And that even seemingly a place where many lose hope, where people seem like it's the end of the line in jail, someone can find quality treatment and get the necessary help to improve their quality of life and to improve their life with their families and to get back into the society as a productive, happy member. That's the goal. We want people to get out there in the world and live life and not have to come back to this place ever again, unless it's to come back and bring a meeting or to give back. So, a big question that comes up often is, how does client-centered services work? And what makes it so effective? And I guess it really boils down to meeting an individual where they're at and understanding what it is they need in order to function in the world. What are their barriers? What are their risks? And the curriculum that we utilize focuses in on 6 aspects of life that are very common when someone suffering from substance use disorder faces. Socialization, not knowing how to work well with others is a big problem. Understanding family relations, how to navigate the job process, how to work well with an employer, how to work well with being a parent and children and neighbors, and just being able to process those relationships in a healthy way is essential to sustaining recovery and living drug-free, not only drug-free, but without engaging in criminal behavior as well. Understanding what's happening in your body is also very important. Drug and alcohol education, knowing what long-term, short-term drug use does to your brain and to your body and to the endorphins, to the neurotransmitters in your mind and in your body. That's also essential. Just knowing what's going on helps to process the whole recovery process. So drug and alcohol education is a major component. Criminal and addictive thinking are two thinking patterns that go hand in hand. So an entire month of classes is dedicated to understanding the correlation between criminal behavior and addictive behavior. They're very closely related. Intake and orientation. You got to know what to expect from treatment. What's expected of you from treatment. So understanding the program, understanding the schedule, the day-to-day activities, understanding the rules, very important. We spend an entire month focusing on just intake and orientation as well. Relapse prevention. There's never a bad time to talk about relapse prevention. It's for many, it's part of recovery, but it's not necessary. So understanding triggers, understanding cravings, understanding the tools that you have at your disposal to process these emotions and these events that are occurring is essential to anyone staying in recovery, and sometimes it's a matter of life and death. Again, also release reintegration is very important to this process, specific to corrections. When someone leaves here, a lot of men, women leave here without anything. They leave here right back to where they came from, homelessness, poverty. So release reintegration really helps get someone tied in with the resources available in the community. And I mean, such as sober living, the 12-step support networks, employment opportunities, educational opportunities. We really want someone to bridge that gap. We want someone to have that comfort of when they're leaving jail that they know where they're going to be, they know where they're going to go, and they know what steps to take to get there. You know, another service that we provide here, Mr. Terry Carl, our jailer, and Judge Chris Knockelman, the county judge executive, we provide law enforcement trainings for the community, for law enforcement, for small businesses, and for our clients here at the jail on overdose prevention and response trainings. Anyone and everyone is affected by overdose, whether it be in your community, at your place of employment, your small business. If you're a law enforcement personnel, you deal with it on a daily basis. But too many young people, young, old, doesn't matter, are dying unnecessarily from overdose in our community. So we provide free of charge to anyone at no cost to the taxpayer, no cost to the consumer, overdose prevention and response trainings, and free naloxone rescue kits. So we train individuals on how to respond to an overdose effectively with a life-saving medication and without that medication. So anyone that's able and willing to come to the detention center can schedule an appointment in a group setting or individual setting to receive that.